Well, hopefully everyone's had an enjoyable lunch and is suitably refreshed, and we're about to get the action back underway. These practice runs as Will Hamer heads off for car 116, the OMS 28. Swift up into Torres. Absolutely around there. Up to Pardon. As Ashley Mead sits on the start line in the Mazda MX-5 car 180. Into the S's comes Will in that single-seater. It's a lovely looking car as well. Ashley Mead is on the hill now as around semicircle goes Will up to the line and does a 39.75, so the third quickest time that's been set today. Ashley Mead in the Mazda MX-5 without the roof. Ben Elwood is on the start line in his Honda Civic. Ashley did a 65.93 on his first run as Ben Elwood gets away in the Honda. Car 181 is Ben, Ashley car 180. Andrew Till 183 in his Honda Civic Type R GT is on the start line. Ashley continues his way towards the finish line. And Elwood showing a couple of quicker sector times. And Ashley with a 65.62, knocking just 3/10 off his first run time. Andrew Till is on the hill now in the second of the Honda Civics as Tom Rossi waits on the start line in the Porsche Boxster S, and Ben Elwood comes up to the finish and does a 54.57, so he has found, well, all bar 100th of a second, he's found a second improvement. 0.99 is improvement. Andrew Till continues up the hill. Tom Rossi has started his second practice run. And Rob Guttridge waits on the line in the Renault Twingo 133. As Tom Rossi comes into Torres and cleanly around there. Pardon goes the Porsche Boxster as Andrew Till does a 54.87, so just 200ths of a second quicker than his first run. Rob Guttridge on his way up the hill as Patrick Hadley lines up the four-wheel drive VW Golf 4Motion on the line, car 187. Tom Rossi meanwhile coming to the end of his run. He does a 55.32, which is over 2 seconds quicker than his first run, and he moves to second quickest in class in these practice runs. All the timed runs that count, of course, tomorrow. Patrick Hadley gets away then in the four-wheel drive Golf. Rob Guttridge a little bit wide there coming up the hill. Christopher Higginbottom in that lovely Abarth competition is on the line. Rob Guttridge, another driver to improve. He does a 62.84 as compared to his 65.08 on his first practice run. Patrick Hadley continues his way up in the Golf. Christopher Higginbottom gets away in the Abarth. David Keeling will be next on the hill in the Westfield 7. As Christopher Higginbottom comes around to Torres. It's a very neat looking little Abarth. Clean, seems to handle really well. Into Pardon he goes. As David Keeling goes away. So the line now has come Will Goff, in the Alfa Romeo 4C. It's a 58.83 for Christopher Higginbottom, so Maybe a second slower than his first practice run, in fact. Wilcoff is on the hill now in the Alpha. Mike Brakes is on the start line in the Ford Fiesta ST150. As David Keelan comes to the line and does a 55.39, big improvement for him, over 2 seconds quicker than his first run. As Wilcoff goes into Pardon in the Alpha 4C. Mike Brakes is away in the Ford Fiesta. And Christopher Heritage with the Dax Rush is waiting on the start line on about 191. And Torres goes Mike Brakes in that Fiesta on up to Pardon. As Wilcoff records a 56.89, so about 0.8 of a second improvement on his first practice run. Christopher Heritage in the Dax Rush is on his way up the hill. George Perks got 192, meanwhile he's on the start line as Christopher gets around Torres on up to Pardon in the Dax Rush. Probably George Perks and the Renault Clio gets away now, the Clio 182 Cup car. Mike Brakes does a 56.81. And that is about a 1.5 seconds improvement on his first run time. McFarlane in the Mini, John Cooper Works Mini, is waiting on the start line as the Renault Clio of George Perks comes into Pardon. Christopher Heritage has done a 54.06. He's found over a second improvement, second quickest in this class now. The man who was quickest on the first run is on the hill at the moment. That's George Perks in the Renault Clio. Steve Perry on the line in the Mazda MX-5 as George Perks comes through semicircle on up to the line. Can he improve on his 53.73? Yes, he can, a 53.09. So very nearly a second quicker than anyone else at this stage. Away goes the Mazda MX-5 of Steve Perry. Alan McFarlane is well on the way in the Mini, the John Cooper Works Mini. He was 8th quickest with a 55.93 after the first runs. Looks like he might just edge that. No, he doesn't. It's a slower time. In fact, it's a 56.31 on his second run. As Steve Perry turns into Pardon in the Mazda MX-5. David Arrowsmith in the Vauxhall Corsa is on the hill. VXR Club Sport Corsa. And Richard Banks has his MG ZR 1400 lined up on the start line. As David Arrowsmith heads up towards a Pardon. Steve Perry's time of 59.98, another good improvement, over a 1.5 seconds quicker than his first run. Well, Richard Banks is away in the MG. David Arrowsmith out of Pardon and on up the hill he goes as Ben Weeks sits on the line in the BMW M140i. Richard Banks coming into Torres now around the hairpin there. That later section of the hill, of course, that was added back in the 1960s, I believe it was. So just Richard Banks on the hill at the moment. Using all the road there as he comes up towards the S's into semicircle up to the line with a time of 61.18, about 0.4 quicker than his previous run, as Ben Weeks now gets away in the BMW M140i. Kevin Davis will be next onto the hill in the Caterham 7 Road Sport car 198. These, of course, the cars competing in the various BOC Run Championships. This is the New Barn Speed Championship cars at the moment, which is a handicap class. Davis is away in the Caterham. Davis goes through semicircle up to the line to set a time of 53.99, so that's very nearly a second improvement. He's now second quickest on scratch times in this handicap category, as Kevin Davis rounds Vittori's, heads on up to Pardon with his left turn indicator going. Leslie Martin is on the line in the Mazda MX-5. So Caterham coming up into the S's. So Leslie Martin heads up, and Timothy Burgess in the BMW Z4 waits on the line. Round semicircle for Kevin Davis then in the Caterham. What time can he set as he comes up to the line? It is a 59.98, which is well over 2 seconds slower than his previous run, in fact. So must have had some issue there, whether it was mechanical or whether it was a slight mistake, I'm not sure, but not able to get close to his first practice run time. Timothy Burgess is on the hill now in the Z4. Gary James is on the start line in the Mazda MX-5, with another MX-5 already coming towards the end of the hill. And that's the car of Leslie Martin, 199, and that car is about to go over the line and does a 65.13, which is very nearly 8 seconds quicker than the first practice run. Gary James is on the hill in his Mazda MX-5. There's another MX-5 about to take to the hill. That's Zach Mead car, 880. As Timothy Burgess comes to the end of his run in his Z4, looking to improve on a 60.90. Can't quite do it. He does a 61.23, so a third of a second down on his first practice run as Zach Mead gets away. And Jonathan Elwood pulls up to the line in the Honda Civic Type R. Meanwhile, Gary James coming through the S's in the MX-5. Round semicircle up towards the line. Car 201 then does a time of 61.15. So Gary slower by about half a second, or nearly half a second, than his first practice run. Jonathan Elwood is away. Pete Fletcher brings the lovely TR7 V8 to the line, car 232, as Zach Mead is into the closing stages of his second practice run. Jonathan Elwood is heading up into Pardon. Away goes Pete Fletcher then in that glorious sounding TR7. Zach Mead does a 65.56, which is a couple of tenths down on his first practice run. Montel sits in the start line in the Austin 840, and Jonathan Elwood heads into semicircle in the Honda Civic car 881. Out of Pardon goes Pete Fletcher in the TR7 V8, as Jonathan Elwood does a 56.84. And is he also unable to improve on his first run time? What did Pete Fletcher do in the TR7 V8? Looking at a better 55.24 on the first run, and does it comfortably with a 53.02, which puts him second quickest in class. Mike Tower in the A40 rounds Pardon, and James Smith gets away in his Alfa Romeo 75.210. Mike Tower is going to end up his run in that E40. Austin. 60.4 54.41 for Mike Tower. That's over a second and a half better than his first practice run. Julian Harbour gets away in the Mini Clubman, as James Smith continues to make his way up the hill in the Alpha 75. Clubman coming into the Torres. And Bowditch in the Golf R will be next off the line. James Smith does a 60.88, so well, about a second and a quarter, no, in fact about 2.25 seconds improvement. I'll get there in a minute. It's about a second and a quarter for James Smith. Julian Harbour then continuing his run up the hill. Then Bowditch is on the hill and Steve Norris waits on the line in the MGB Roadster. The Mini comes through the semicircle up towards the line. What can Julian Harbour do? He does a 55.15, so about half a second down on his first run as Steve Norris powers the MGB Roadster off the line. And Bowditch well into his run now. As Loftus is on the line in the Caterham Superlight R, as Steve Norris rounds the Tories in the MGB Roadster. Ben Bowditch does a 52.51, which is a second and a half improvement. So Daniel Carroll heads away in the MGB Roadster. Stephen Norris does a 63.09, about a third of a second improvement on his first run. Lars Loftus has been putting in some quick times in the Caterham. Can he go quickest? He's about 4/10 down, and he does go quickest now with a 47.50. Matt Walton, who was quickest on the first run, he's just leaving the start line as Daniel Carroll in the MGB Roadster goes up. Around the Tories then goes Matt Walton. Ted Elworth sits on the line in his MGA. 60.68 for Daniel Carroll. That's a good second and a half up on his first run as Ted Elworth gets away, and Matt Walton tries to reclaim fastest time in class in the Caterham Superlight. Around semicircle he goes, up to the line, does a 48.17, and that isn't enough. Although he's slightly quicker than his previous run, just 700 improvement, it leaves him behind Lars Loftus as far as these practice runs are concerned. Ted Elworth coming up to partners. Colin Richards gets away in the Lotus 51A. And Jeremy Rivers-Fletcher sits on the line in the Triumph Special. Ted Elworth does a 66.67, so that's about, that's actually 8/10 down on his first practice run as Jeremy Rivers-Fletcher heads away in the Triumph Special. And Colin Richards tackles the top end of the hill into semicircle and in the Lotus 51A, up towards the line, and he does a 56.27, which is very nearly 2 seconds better than his first run. As Jeremy Rivers-Fletcher, who did a 56.16 on his first run, also makes his way up the hill. Max Briley-Jones in the TR7 V8 is on the hill. As that Triumph Special just squealing the tyres a little bit there. Richards is sat on the start line in the Renault Clio RS200 towards the end of his run, and what can he do? A 54.90, so he has picked up well over a second, about 2.25 on his first run. TR7 V8 coming towards the end of his run and looking quick so far. Was quickest in class on the first runs with a 52.22 through semicircle up towards the line, and a 51.59, so over half a second improvement for Max Briley-Jones as Maggie Richards comes out of Itoris in the Renault Clio, and David Wilson sits on the start line in the Lotus Elise, car 721. Maggie Richards then out of Pardon and on up the hill, looking to better a time of 58.39 on her first practice run. As away goes David Wilson in the Lotus Elise. Maggie Richards comes around semicircle towards the line. And Maggie does a 58.46. For some reason we've got 3 times up for Maggie, a 58.39, a 58.44 and a 58.46. Couldn't get them much closer together than that, and David Wilson looks as if he is improving on his class heading time in the first practice run. Bob Penrose in the Renault Clio RS200 sits on the line. Around semicircle comes the Lotus Elise up to the line. 48.95. So we are, of course, into the third runs for the British Championship contenders now. Bob Penrose. Yeah. So David Wilson was about 3/4 of a second down on his first, or his second run. So the hill is clear just for the moment. We're just waiting for Bob Penrose to start. Well, in fact, no. Time deleted, so something appears. Right, so the clock started once, so I don't know if there's a problem. What happened there? But he gets away now in the Renault Clio RS200. And away he goes as Richard Pates pulls up to the line in the MGZR 160. So around to Torres goes the Clio, off Bob Penrose, and then on up towards Pardon. It's a really nice tight line around Pardon and out. Best time for Bob was his first run with a 61.69. Can he better that with his third run? Around semicircle comes the Clio RS200 and on up to the line, and a 62.22, so still his first practice run was his best time as Richard Pates goes away in the MGZR 160. And on the line is Keith Misen in the Mazda MX-5. Richard Pates runs Itoris and out on up towards Pardon. So into the S's goes Richard in that MG as Keith Misen gets away in the Mazda. James Hudson sits on the line in his Volkswagen Golf as Keith Misen heads out of Itoris on up to Pardon. Richard Pates does a 58.49, so that is his best time of the 3 practice runs. James Hudson is away in the Volkswagen Golf. And Jonathan Langreid sits on the start line as the Mazda MX-5 comes to the line and sets a time of 51.29. So by exactly 1 second, he improves on his best time in practice so far. James Hudson comes up the hill. Jonathan Langreid heads away in the Lotus Elise Sport. Lotus surrounding the Tories. Peter Herbert is on the line in the Alpine A110, car number 30. As James Hudson does a 49.99. And that is exactly a 10th better than his previous best. So around semicircle then goes the Lotus Elise Sport. Jonathan Langreid up to the line, and he does a 51.81, so nearly a second down on his best time, which was a 50.84. Peter Herbert is on the hill heading into a Taurus in the Alpine A110. Ian Richards is on the line in the Renault Clio RM200. And we are now into Class A2. The road cars, production cars, over 2 litres. Ian Richards gets away in the Renault Clio. And Robert Wilson sits on the line in the Lotus Elise. Peter Herbert just come into the line in the Alpine, does a 50.09. His best time by very nearly a second. He's 6th quickest in class after his 3 practice runs. Ian Richards out of Parton and on up the hill in the Renault Clio. Robert Wilson sits on the line and gets away now in his Lotus Elise. And to the bridge there goes Robert. Tony Adams will be next onto the hill in the Porsche Cayman. As Robert Wilson rounds the Taurus on up towards Parton. Ian Richards does a 55.34. And that is very nearly a full second slower than his 2nd practice run. Tony Adams is away in the Porsche Cayman. Tim Elmer in his Alpine A110 Pure is on the line. Robert Wilson comes to the line and does a 48.78, which is his quickest time of the 3 practice runs, but he remains 2nd quickest behind David Wilson. Tim Elmer heads away there in the Alpine A110. There's Tony Adams around semicircle and does a 49.76 again. By exactly 100th of a second, he improves on his 2nd practice run time. Tim Alma rounding Park. Richard York is on the line in the Porsche Cayman 718 GT4 Club Sport. Semicircle and goes the Alpine of Tim Elmer up to the line, and he does a 49.43. His best time of the practice runs by about 3/4 of a second as Richard York rounds Parton. Simon Tarling leaves the start line in the Porsche 996 GT3. Steve Atkins in the BMW M2 competition is on the start line. Simon Tarling out of the Tories and on his way up to Pardon. Richard York, meanwhile, coming towards the end of his run, does a 52.43, his best time of the day by 0.6 of a second. Simon Atkins heads away in the BMW M2. David Meek brings the Porsche 911 GTS up to the line. Out of the Tories and on up to the Pardon goes the M2. As Simon Tarling does a 52.55, so half a second down on his best time to date as David Meek gets away in the 911 GTS. Robert Lancaster Gay is in his Porsche is on the line now. That's a 991.2 GT3 as David Meek heads up to Pardon, and Stephen Atkins does a 49.26, a little over a tenth slower than his best practice run. So David Meek now through the S's, and on up he goes as Robert Lancaster Gay gets away in his 991, I should say, to be specific. And a 47.73 for David Meek, fastest in class now, having just found an extra second, a little over a second on this final practice run. Richard Snow is on the line in his Porsche Cayman GT4 RS. Robert Lancaster Gay makes his way up the hill. Robert currently lies 4th quickest in class in his practice runs. On up, and his time is 48.64, which moves him up to 3rd quickest in class as Richard Snow gets underway in the Porsche Cayman GT4 RS. Philip James in the Porsche 911 GTS is on the start line as Richard Snow goes into Pardon. A couple of purple timing sections, so going well at the moment. Currently down in 2nd place, having led the class times in practice, but is demoted by David Meek. Can he get that quickest time back as he comes on up to the S's, into semicircle and up to the line? Can he battle a 47.73? He can. It's a 47.28, and he goes back to quickest in class as Philip James takes the 911 Carrera into Pardon. Rodney Isles in the Porsche 911 is on the start line. Through the S's. Rodney Isles gets underway in the Porsche 911. Round semicircle comes Philip James up to the finish line at a 49.85, a better time for Philip. That's only his 2nd run of the day, but he's significantly improved with that. Lacey is on the line in the Subaru Impreza as Rodney Isles comes up towards the S's. We are in Class A3 at the moment, road cars, series production cars. 4-wheel drive of any engine capacity as Neil Lacey gets away in his 4-wheel drive. In fact, a 46.74 for Rodney Isles. He was already quickest, and he's just improved on that by about a 1/3 of a second. As Neil Lacey comes through a Taurus, and Alan Mansfield sits on the start line of the Toyota GR Yaris. Off goes Neil Lacey in that 5-door Impreza. Goes Alan Mansfield in the Toyota GR. Neil Lacey's best time so far, 51.17, so he found 2 seconds between his 1st and 2nd run. What about this 3rd one? Can he improve? And the answer is no, he does a 53.39, which is actually, I think, his slowest time of the day. Mansfield is on his way up the hill in the GR Yaris, similar car. The car of Roger Stocks, number 48, is on the start line. Alan is looking to better a 51.66. He goes through semicircle up to the line and isn't going to do it. It's a 52.49 then for Alan Mansfield, as Roger Stocks waits to get away in his GR Yaris. So most people are improving on their time so far in this class. What can Roger Stocks do? He's away under the bridge on up towards the Torres. And the Toyota GR Yaris waiting on the line. That's the car of Tony Hawkins, number 49, as Roger Stocks goes into Pardon. Out of that left-hand hairpin on up the hill. Tony Hawkins gets away in his similar car. Into the S's then comes Roger Stocks. Better 50.66 on his second run. And there's a 51.04, so not able to improve on his time. Pete Richings just getting off the line in the VW Golf R, as Tony Hawkins continues his run in the GR Yaris, the red one, 49. And on up he comes as out of the Tories goes Pete Richings in that VW Golf. Philip James in the Porsche 911 Carrera GTS is on the line. The Welsh driver gets away then in that 911. What can Pete Richings do? He's second quickest with a 49.14 after 2 runs. Isn't able to match that. Does a 50 seconds run exactly, as Phil James comes out of Pardon on up the hill then in the Carrera GTS. Paul Evans is on the line in the Westfield, just gets away now in that Westfield SCIW. Phil James best so far, 49.85. Paul Evans comes into the Torres. And Phil James finds another couple of tenths and does a 49.66. Moves up to 6th spot in the standings in this class, which is Class A2. In Class B we have Paul Evans in the Westfield, John Haycock in the Westfield Megabusa waits gets away now. 50.73 for Paul Evans, his best practice time by 700ths of a second. That's what he picked up on his second run. John Maycock going up towards Pardon. Jonathan Toon in the Fisher Fury is on the start line. This looks like it could be quite a good time for John Maycock as he comes up towards the S's. He was the second quickest after 2 practice runs in this class. Still looking like he's setting a good time. He's into semicircle, up to the line, and does a 46.46, so he stays in second place. He improves on his second run, but isn't quick enough to get the better of Richard Price. As Jonathan Toon rounds the Tories, and Martin Hickey waits on the line in his Caterham 7. Goes Jonathan Toon. Away goes Malcolm Hickey. commentator's sheets, which reminds me that I haven't got my glasses on. Now this is a good sheet for Malcolm Hickey in the HillClimb 7 from Contender in North Wales. 1800cc series engine, producing, I think that's 217 brake horsepower. His best time here to update has been a 47.7. And he does a 49.27, so down on his second run there. As Timothy Higgins continues his way up the hill in the Westfield SEI, and Richard Price is on the hill in the HillClimb 7, coming up into a Torres. Very nimbly around there and on up to Pardon. This looks like a good time. Moment at least. Eric Murray and his helmet imp is on the line. Timothy Higgins does a 50.78, just 500 slower than Paul Evans ahead of him. As Eric Murray gets away in the Hillman imp. It's up into a Torres. Richard Price does a 45.85, finds 3 tenths on his previous best and continues to be the fastest in class. The imp around Pardon. The time he's looking to beat is a 56.97 on his second practice run. Christopher Bentley gets underway in the Austin Mini Cooper on 66. And up the line comes Andrew Russell in the Ginetta G15. That's the imp around semicircle. And sets a time of 53.69, so he has found over 3 seconds on his previous practice run, but remains in 3rd place in the practice times in this class. Andrew Russell is away in the Ginetta as the Mini Cooper comes through the S's. Ginetta heads up towards the Torres. 57.70 for Christopher Bentley, his best time of the practice runs by nearly a second. Paul Talbot in the video British Leyland Mini 1275 GT is away off the line as Andrew Russell brings his Ginetta G15 through the S's. Mike Green pulls up onto the line in the Peugeot 206 GTI. Around Torres, he goes up to, in fact that's the Mini of Paul Talbot. Around Pardon, Andrew Russell does a 53.48, so that one's a 2 tenths slower than his best time. Paul Talbot is fastest in class so far in this Mini 1275 GT. As Mike Green heads off in the Peugeot, around semicircle goes Paul Talbot, and his time as he crosses the lines of 48.18, that's his fastest time of the day. Mike Green around Torres, and Chris Scrivens sits on the start line in his Renault Clio, car number 74. Through Pardon goes Mike Green. Away goes Chris Scrivens. The Clio under the bridge on up towards the Torres, and Robert Toon sits on the line in the Morgan Plus 8. Bean comes towards the end of his run. And does a 58.64, so again about a third of a second improvement on his previous best.
Wow, it's hotting up now, isn't it? We're starting to see some lovely cars, some lovely times Big TR7 V8 there. That looks like Nigel Elliott's car. What a piece of kit that is. Twin turbocharged Rover V8. Wow, what's not to like about that? I mean, one turbocharger on a Rover V8 would be good, but two, I think that's just greedy. Anyway, lovely chap Nigel, and he's here with partner Laura. And anyway, he's away from the line. Yeah, very swift exit off the line there, to be fair.
Robert Toon going well as well. He could actually go fastest in class yet as he comes towards the end of his run.
Yeah, Robert came to the window just now, Peter, and he said he's got some slicks. The first time he's run on slicks, so he's interested to see. So he's done a great time, hasn't he?
Yeah, 48.63 makes him fastest in class now. As Paul Howells rounds the pardon. He was quickest until a few moments ago. He's done a 49.29. He needs to find a little over half a second to reclaim the quickest practice time. Paul Howells, meanwhile, sits on the line, or has just left the line, in fact, in the Porsche 911 RSR.
What a car too. This one's got a wrap on it, actually, the green and yellow wrap. But this one, if you want an air-cooled Porsche, well, I think this would be very much high on your list. That lovely whale tail on it, flat six, air-cooled, loads of horsepower. Sounds absolutely fantastic, doesn't it? Local driver from the Forest of Dean. He's got a few Porsches, he was telling me. But this is the one we mostly see. He's already headed through the S's, but I was just looking at that time by Robert Toon earlier. That was tremendous, actually. He's the father of Johnny Toon.
Yeah, I ran an air-cooled Porsche as a road car at one time. It involves a certain amount of bravery, shall we say.
Yeah, highly desirable cars these days, aren't they? They fetch you the money, aren't they, really?
You would go into a corner quickly and it would say, it was as if it was telling you, you don't want to do that again.
No, snap it would snap, would it, very quickly?
Oh yeah. And replaced it with a TVR, which is much more aggressive.
Ah, very nice. I bet you've owned a few nice cars in your time.
One or two, yeah.
Yeah, I bet you have. Well, we're all car freaks, aren't we, really? Simon Price, that is Richard Price's son. Oh, hang on. No, hang on. It's another Price. There's three Prices altogether. The green car is Simon Price. Anyway, we digress. So Robin Holden and the Westfield Mega Boots are approaching through the S's. Ian Milford has just left the line in the Subaru Impreza. So we've got a little batch of Imprezas now, haven't we? What do you think of this one?
The Ragabuta looking very good, coming up to the line of 46.83, his fastest time. Third in class. Ian Milford is rounding the Tories. And I think I'm going to leave things to you, Chris, for a little while.
Okay, go and have a little break, Peter. Yeah, smashing. Okay, another great job there. So Ian Milford in that lovely little Impreza. We've got a few nice Imprezas here. We've got some nice Evos as well. So we've got some lovely machines. Lovely to see. So I'm just going to move back into the hot seat here, and suitably tuned up or warmed up by Peter. Right, Ian Milford, car 60. Car 80. Okay. Right, the one you're seeing now, Nick Powell. This is his new car. This is a rally spec car. It was a rally tarmac rally car, about 340 horsepower. Lovely looking thing, isn't it? That's right. And then Richard Hampstead's following him. Richard's been campaigning this Impreza. This one's got about 500 brake horsepower, he was telling me now. So it seems to get quicker and quicker every year. He comes from Sussex, he was telling me. A little slide there out of Torres. Heading down towards Pardon. That unmistakable sound of that flat four with the turbocharger on it. Four-wheel drive, permanent four-wheel drive, of course. And then waiting on the line is Einan Price, our Welsh man. He used to drive rally cars. He used to drive single-seaters. I think he's got another single-seater lined up. But this car, this is what we call the eBay Special. Very, very rapid, actually, Audi TT Quattro. He bought that one off eBay, and he said just to sort of stop the boredom, really, but he drives this incredibly well. He He's second fastest so far in practice. Let's see what he can do this time. And he'll be followed by Ray Lower in the Caterham 7. So at the moment we're in the modified series production cars, 4-wheel drive of any engine capacity. So leading was, with his first run of the day, was Stephen Darley with a 47.51. But unfortunately, Stephen's car is broken. He's done a wheel bearing on the back sheared, and unfortunately he is out of action, probably for the weekend. So he probably won't get to do his competition runs. Ina Price just gone through to the finish, 47.19, which was quicker than Stephen's time earlier anyway. Ray Lower on the hill, Professor Ray, a professor, retired professor of mechanical engineering at the varsities, and if anyone knows how to fettle a car, it's Ray. He's sharing with Joy Hoyle, and Joy and Ray always have a very, very good battle. Who's going to get the honours this weekend? We will see. But at the moment, Rob Lloyd is leading those little modified cars, the specialist production cars. Rob Lloyd's car has actually got a higher booster engine with a turbo on it, so it's a very serious bit of kit indeed. Stuart Hook is in second place. His hasn't got a turbo, but Rob Lloyd is waiting on the line. Stuart Hook is just leaving the line. Rob Lloyd's got a camera on board, which I can see, which I don't think the live stream's actually running at the moment, but he's 75 miles an hour through the bridge there. He's making his way around Torres. He's really come on in leaps and bounds, and when you look at the onboard, these are absolutely fantastic. They just make you realise just how quickly these drivers are pushing these cars. My goodness, absolutely rocketing up through the S's, gets it through there, beautiful line, gets it round rolls. Now he's got a little short blast up to semicircle, fresh air corner, round there under the edge of the rumble strip, already booting the power. Whoa, through the finish there in a 43.64. That's another 3 or 4 tenths. Roger Moran on the hill. Now look folks, this Ford Fiesta, this is 800 horsepower, car 95. 800 horsepower, it's a European hill climb spec car. He bought it off a Greek gentleman, he got it for a good price, he was telling me. When you look under the bonnet, the engine runs north to south, not transverse. It's a 2.3, 16-valve turbocharged car. Now we're into this exciting machinery. Scott Moran on the line in the Evo 6. This is an ex-Time Attack car. This one is potentially over 1,000 horsepower when it's fully dialed in. It's got a supercharger, a turbocharger, a 6-time British Hill Climb champion in Scott Moran driving it. My goodness me, come on then Scotty. Oh, smokes it off the line there. A load of smoke out the exhaust as well. Crazy stuff. He's got an onboard camera as well. My goodness me. So who's going to get the honours between Scotty and Dad? Again, this is only practice. This is probably only the second time Scott's driven this car ever. Roger brought it at the end of last year, brought it here, and he did bring it to Rally Day, but didn't have too much success getting up the hill. In fact, I think he used a Skoda, and then that day Scotty's Skoda broke, so they used Stephen Moore's Evo. But anyway, Scotty's showing purple sectors at the moment, which means he's the quickest of this little category. Already around semicircle, heads up towards the finish, time of 46.51. So Scotty Moran is quicker than Dad. Dad was in the 52, so Dad's finding the car. George Harding in the Ford Escort 2000, that's a Cosworth engine, one with the turbo. He's come to a stop at the end of Vittori's. The marshals are just getting down there and having a look and having a chat. Is it a mechanical failure? I suspect it is. That's unlucky if that is the case. And then Sam Nicholson's waiting on the line in the Malak. So George Harding, so what's happened to him? We're under a red flag. Well, was he red flagged because there was a red flag, or has he got a mechanical problem? So marshals are just having a chat. He's now proceeding on his way. Is he going to go over the crossover and go back to the paddock? No, he looks like he's going to go to the top of the hill. So I can't tell you if he's going to get a rerun or not, but I don't know why he stopped, so I don't know. But anyway, George in that turbocharged Escort, that's got to be an absolute something to drive, hasn't it, eh? Rear wheel drive with about 300 or 400 horsepower. Wow. Amazing stuff. And then we'll get to see Sam Nicholson and that glorious Mallock. That Mallock has been around forever, actually. And let me just have a quick look, see where we're at. Yeah, so Sam, it's a 1700cc crossflow. So George all crawling across the line. Come on, I think he must have a problem. He's got it going again now. No assistance needed to get back to the paddock. So the red flag is out. And Robin Nicholson has just gone up to the start line. He's shaking his head. Don't know what's happened there. I think the engine's running. Clerk of the course, Sam is just coming down there now to have a word with the marshals. There was a lot of shaking of head as Robin walked back down, and now he's pushing the battery back up. He's doing a lot of work with that battery today. This is a way to get fit, isn't it, eh? Push that battery. Perhaps we should bring it in your Olympic sport, battery pushing. Okay, so I'm guessing there's actually, I followed that car back from Lowton last week, and I was looking, I think there's a very tiny battery on the car from what I remember seeing. So they don't want that extra weight. So these Clubman's cars, this is sort of, Mallock's probably went up to about Mark 38, Mark 40, I guess. So this one would be sort of mid-range. This has got the 1700 Ford Crossflow engine, which is a very popular engine for them. But some of the later ones, there's Clubman's car, Mike Luck, for example, runs the Rover K series engine. Now, just looking into the paddock, I can see Mike Luck's car. He's getting ready to go. That's car 102, that beautiful blue and yellow Clubman's car. And behind him is Grant Sinclair, just in the paddock here with that Stiletto Imp. That's a Maguire-based car. And if you notice, on the back of that Imp this year, it's got a rear wing, and he was telling me that gives him quite a bit more stability, which is no bad thing. I can see Alan McDonald there behind him as well in that little... oh, he's shaking his head. No, we don't want him shaking his head, do we? Eh? The little Force, isn't it? The little Force sports car with the little Hayabusa. So I don't quite know what our delay is at the moment. I'm just looking up the hill here. Just can't see. Oh, unless those pheasants are causing us grief again. Ah, right. Looks like we're back in the game. Red flags are in. Whistles have been blown. Sam Nicholson, son of Robin, in the car. Visor down. Says, right, let me have my go. Revving the engine. And he's away. 1700 Ford Crossflow, giving it all it's got. Probably got around about 180 brake horsepower, 170, 180. I think the engine was rebuilt last year. And then we've got the little Radical. Now this Radical, this is the car of John McQuillan. It's on the line. But Tom Weaver was driving it this weekend with him as well. So that's good. Yeah, it is going to be Tom Weaver. We've got a camera on board, Sam Nicholson. That's not much use to you if you're not watching, if you can't see the live stream. But I don't know if Rich is running it this afternoon or not. But he might trial it. Either way, it'll be running tomorrow if it's not this afternoon. Sam Nicholson, very good driver indeed. Already through to the finish. Excellent time, 44.37. Which would actually take him second on times at the moment to Matthew Price, who will be up later on in the Radical. I can see Matthew getting ready to take his run here in the paddock. And looks a bit like could be Joy Hoyle taking her run. It is Joy Hoyle, she's on the line. So Tom Weaver normally drives a single-seater. Last weekend he drove a Citroen Saxo. This weekend he's driving a Radical. So, very talented young driver from Ludlow. His first go in a little Radical sports car. These are grand little cars. They're all got little Hayabusa engines in them, bike engines. They certainly do the job. Right, so Joy Hoyle's away. Tom Weaver's approaching semi towards the finish. Chris McDade is sat there on the line in the Imp with the Rover K Series engine. So Tom Weaver does a 48.36, and obviously just learning that car. Joy Hoyle has already gone round Pardon, going up towards the S's. She's in the same group of the modified specialist production cars, sharing with Professor Ray Lower. Ray Lower went up in a 48.15 earlier. Joy did a 47.80. Already through the finish with a 47.82, keeps her in third place in that class in practice. Now the car on the line now, this is Mike Luck. This is a glorious little car. This runs Rover K Series rather than the Crossflow in this one. And it's called the Dart 1800. So it's an 1800 Rover K Series, totally home-built car. The driver sat right over to the right-hand side, whereas on the Nicholson Malloch, they're sat in the middle at the back. Here's Grant Sinclair, comes all the way from Scotland. This is a fabulous little thing, isn't it? Look how low that is. Little imp engine there. It's only a tiny little engine, only about 120 brake horsepower max. But it's so low. The handling on the car is fantastic. He's got that spoiler on the back, that little wing, and it really does hold it down. He said at Doom recently, he said he got a PB there, and he had a PB in practice first thing this morning. So although that won't count until time, it does look very encouraging for him when he actually does start that. So Mike Luck approaches the finish and does a 45.34, which puts him, well, would be in fourth place on the timings we've had so far today. Grant Sinclair, though, the Maguire Space Frame Imp, this is a special little car, folks. Sits there so low. It's not like if you look at Chris McDade's, the height of his car compared with this. Oh, and the chock just flew out of the hand there of our start marshal. There was so much torque came through that rear wheel there. He had to let go of that chock and it flew away. Fortunately, he's all right, and the chock is been retired. I think that chock. I think he might have to get a spare one. Oh, he's picked up the other one there. Was it a chock or was it a brush? I'm not sure. Anyway. Main thing is our marshal's okay. So Grant Sinclair already going through the S's. Sits there so flat on the deck, this car as well. That little tiny little 4-cylinder imp engine, little Coventry Climax imp engine. I'm sure the imp engine was derived from fire engine pumps. Either way, Grant Sinclair through the line at 50.36. That's not an improvement on what he did earlier. Stephen King again in the little very standard Radical Pro Sport. This is the basic 1300 Hayabusa engine version. And then David Bickley waiting to go in the Bickley Motorsport Radical. That one's a little bit more breathed on. And then we will probably get to see Matthew Price in a very breathed on Radical. And I'm starting to see a few single-seaters emerge too. Graham Wynn there in his new Force one there with the bit of enclosed bodywork on that car. That car has given a few teething problems, brand new car. There's that Alan McDonald. So Stephen King is on the hill. David Bickley has left the line. So 51.18 for Stephen King in the red Radical. David Bickley in the white one, already about halfway up the hill, approaching S approach. And then he's going to be followed by Alan McDonald in the Force SR4. This car used to be run by Rob Stevens. Very, very potent car driver. So this is a turbocharged booster. And Alan, of course, is an ex-TT bike racer, so very courageous man. Now this guy, you can hear it, Matthew Price. This would be the pick of the class, this one, folks. This 270 brake horsepower Radical. Matthew Price is from near Halesowen. He didn't tell me exactly where, but up that neck of the woods. Only I think this is his third season. Terrific young driver. He's had a few incidents in his car, but each time he's managed to get it rebuilt. He said he's not going to probably do a full season this year, but he can guarantee any event he takes part in, he will be right on the pace. So Matthew is away. Very rapid indeed off the start. He's gone through the speed trap at 78 miles an hour. Car's looking very good into the Taurus. Those fluorescent wheels. I did notice that up at the Nova Tyres place there was some fluorescent wheels up there being reshot. So maybe he's bought himself a set of tyres, some new slicks. Who knows? Anyway, Matthew's on his way into S approach. Robin Nicholson's waiting on the line in the lovely Mallock, sharing with his son Sam, of course. Through the line, Matthew, 43.96. Actually did a 43.55 before lunch. Robin looking to, well, his earlier time was 45.71 and he was lying 5th fastest in practice. Can he improve on that? Now he has actually got a camera on board as well. I do love this camera. This one is just showing us such a great view, which you'll get to see when the live stream goes live. And I don't know if it's live yet, I do not know. But Rich might whisper in my ear if it is. If not, we assume it's not. Anyway. I have had a whisper in my ear. The live stream is live. Well, that's very exciting, folks. So we are live on the live stream. You can watch on HillClimb.TV, which is absolutely worth doing. And this is the first time we've used the HillClimb.TV this year. Rich's first time. Great to see it back in action. It does an amazing job. We've got viewers from all over the world. Everyone loves the live stream. And then tomorrow we'll be live streaming all day as well, I reckon. So we'll have the time runs tomorrow. I think we'll kick off with a practice run, then a time run. Now, that's a quick car coming to the line. This is Graham Wynn's new car. This is what they call a Force TAS. It's got a 2.5 litre V6 in the back of it. And it's a little bit slower than the Gould GR59 that he's got. But I think he wanted something brand new out the box. Ian Dason's here with him helping to set the car up. Let's hope he has a good run. He's had 1 or 2 engine maladies to deal with. Hopefully he gets a good clean run. Graham Wynn, of course, he's the man. He raises huge amounts of money for charity through his Wynn Foundation. So let's hope he has a clean run this weekend and this little car can really get going and show us what it's capable of. I've got famous people in front of my box here. I've got Will Hall, Alex Summers, and Alex is with his new young baby. And there they go, yeah. Right, Graham Wynn next to go. He did a 43-second run last time. Graham Lokes is in this batch as well, and Nigel Hinton in the NGTD. Wow, a lot of smoke. I'll tell you what, that was a pretty rapid exit. He was 90 miles an hour through the speed trap, so he's actually flying at the moment. Good to see, good to see. I hope he can have a lovely clean weekend and really get to grips with this brand new car. Very talented driver. Well, he's certainly well up on his time earlier. He's already showing purple sectors. When we see a purple sector on the screen, that means he's the quickest in the class thus far, which one would expect anyway in this car when it's all working well. But he's already around semicircle, powers it to the finish, 42.10, getting better all the time, knocking chunks off it each time he runs that car. Good afternoon, Mr. Summers. A bit of feedback there. How are you, Alex? All right. Yeah, I know, I'm heading away here. I know, it's my little house. It's my new house, actually. It's very nice. Right, I better shut the window in case we get some feedback. Okay. Right, back to it, back to it. So, alrighty, so Nigel Hinton in the NGTD Roadster, followed by Jensen Kerr in the little OMS, the little screaming OMS. Well, this is a very rapid little thing actually. I'm sure he's got an 1100 in it this year. I think he had a 600 in it last year. Let me just check my notes. Yeah, little 1 litre engine in that OMS 28, and then Archie Kerr is just following this. These are two sons of Will Hamer and Ben Hamer. So they both sharing this car. Have they got their? No, I think they've got their own car. They've each got their separate car this year. One's got an OMS 28 and one's got an OMS 3000. So Archie well on his way up towards the SS. Scott Rayson just leaves the line in the Empire 00. This little Empire again, a little 1 litre car, and sharing this with his wife Emma. They're both from the Channel Islands, and oh my word, swinging those tyres, Scott, well done to you, sir, giving it a go. Sparks are flying from the bottom of the car there as he approaches Pardon Hairpin. Very clean through there, good run. Yeah, one of our bunch of Channel Islanders. Yeah, Scott has got a garage business back in, I think, was it Guernsey? And also sometimes he brings his, what you call his sand racer car over as well, which has got a massive 5 litre Chevrolet engine in the back of it. But Scotty's through the line there with a 39.88. At the moment, Alex Summers has shown the quickest time in practice with a 38.61. Debbie Summers, his wife, is currently driving the DJ Firehawk up the hill. Well, this is a good return to see Debbie back on the hill, actually. They've both got their young baby now, who's growing fast. But Debbie, I think, was the ladies' hill record holder. I'd have to check and see whether she still holds that. This is the family Firehawk. Little DJ cars, little 1 litre bike engine in it, and looking good, heading up towards the finish, going to do a time of 42.79. Well done, Debbie. And then we got the first of our Formula 4s. We've got Simon Andrews in the Van Diemen, the RF90. I think he was down to drive with Bernie Kevel in the OMS 28, but unfortunately I think that one's got a problem. Much needed sip of water there. Graham Williams on the OMS 2000M, just approaching Pardon Hairpin now. This is a car that was built in the year 2000. Again, running in the up to 1100 class, so again running a bike engine. Most of these run Suzuki GSX-R engines. Occasionally they'll run a Kawasaki. And then he'll be followed by Richard Matosian. Richard comes all the way from sunny Scotland, just round the Tories, heading towards Pardon. This is the ex-Robert Kenrick car, so no pressure on that one, because this car, when Kenrick had it, still does, holds the class record up to 1100 here and lots of other hills. But anyway, Richard bought the car. Robert did rebuild the engine for him last year, and he's going very nicely. Now, Stuart Bickley in the Fluorescent Force has already left the line, approaching Itores. Very much somebody to really get on the pace with Stuart. He was in the runoff in the Midland Championship at Loughton Park last weekend. And could he possibly get in the runoffs in an 1100 here at Prescott tomorrow? Time will tell. At the moment, his best time was 39.91. Alex Summers did a 38.61, but oh, here he goes, 39.64. That takes him third fastest in this class. And then Pete Tatham is on the line. He's in the DJ Firehawk Mark IV. This is his brother David's car, and David's watching here on the back of the line. Good clean exit for Pete. Sharing brothers' car, and Pete is having his own OMS built at the moment. which he said might be ready by next weekend. Anyway, that will be a very quick car and driver combination. David was second quickest earlier at 39.05. He'll be looking, can he improve on that? Now just looking at his split times, we will see. Alex Summers leading the way at the moment with that 38.61, so he's going to be a very serious contender, isn't he? Heading towards semicircle. No, he's not. He's done a 42.22, so that was... Sorry, my mistake. So it was David Tatham that did the 39.05, yet Pete Tatham 42.22, 42.20 was his best. So he doesn't want to bend brother's car, does he? So it's probably quite a wise move not to drive it too frantically. Away from the line, we've got Lindsay Summers is already well on the hill in the Formula Ford. Becky Crocombe, her Formula Ford has just left the line. And is that Kirsten Dodd or is that Caroline Ryder in the car coming to the line? One of those two, we'll find out in a minute. So Lindsay Summers finishes with a 52.41. Currently Jimmy Harris is leading that Formula Ford class at 47.57. Becky Crocombe approaching the S's. Kirsten Ryder, it is just leaving the line. Matthew Ryder's good lady wife. And she's come back after having the baby. This is her first run competitively since she's had the baby. She said to me earlier she was very nervous. Well, that was understandable, but she seems to have got over that now and she's driving up the hill very smoothly. So Becky Crocombe did a 52.42. And then it's going to be followed by Nicola Dearden. Andrew Dearden was quick earlier, her father. Both driving this Formula Ford. So Nicola leads the line. She's gone. Kirsten about halfway up the hill. Need a bit more. These little Formula Fords, absolutely fabulous little things to drive. They've got no aero on them. They're all running the same engine, the same gearbox, pretty much the same tyres. So, you know, they're all running about 110, 120 brake horsepower. Little 1600 cross-flow Ford engine, single carburettor. So, you know, they're all pretty evenly matched, aren't they? So you could expect. I think there's 16 in the class. This is terrific. I think Formula Ford is becoming a very popular little class. It's a more affordable class to get into than many. Van Diemen seems to be the most popular. In fact, in this class today, there's one Swift and everything else is a Van Diemen. So Van Diemen seem to be the most popular cars to have. So Jimmy Harris leading the way from all the way from Yorkshire. I think he's up Halifax way, I think. But anyway, he's up there. I do see quite a bit of him. Jimmy there, oh, he was all over the curves through the S's there, and he's in purple sector, so he looks like he's going to improve on his time earlier at 47.57, and he doesn't quite. No, he does a 47.68. I think he's just a little bit ragged through the S's there, perhaps. Stuart Lugger in this Swift has been rebuilt over the last winter, last year. Looks absolutely terrific too, that car. And then just leaving the line is Andrew Mathis, again in a Van Diemen. And that looks a bit like Max Hawkes coming to the line. So at the moment it is only practice, but Jimmy Harris has laid down a marker. Yeah, that's a car of Stuart. Andrew Mathis, that's a beautifully turned out little car. Little RF89, so it's one of the later Formula Fords. Got that lovely colour scheme, the paintwork looks absolutely immaculate on it. Beautifully turned out, credit to the owners. There's a lot of time, love and money goes into these cars. They do look after them, don't they? And those little Formula Fords, they're just putting them where they want them to go. We've got Max Hawkes has got a camera on board. So we're watching him on the live screen, we're just talking through. So over to the right there, through Orchard, keeps that power down. Now we'll brake hard into Ettores. The line is very important. They need to keep it tight, Cross that beautiful line from Max there. Looking very good so far. So young Max, he's also one of our photographers on the hill when he's not driving the cars. Very, very good he is too. Very imaginative. Prescott looks an absolute picture with the bluebells at the moment. Absolutely incredible. Into Rolt. Hard left. Now a little blast up to semicircle. Fresh air corner. Don't go over the edge of that. No, you're not going to do that. Bit of arm core on the left there. Blast it to the finish. Okay, he's through the finish in a 48.41. That takes him third quickest in practice so far and Max's fastest time of the day today. Sarah Bosworth has left the line. She's well up the hill now. Sarah Bosworth, just retired, demon barber from Sheffield. I think her business, barber business, was up for sale. Anyway, when she drives these little race cars, always very competitive indeed. Big mates with Lindsay Summers. They often go on bike rides, so the big motorbikes, and Trevor Willis often joins them as well. Now, Will Hamer in the OMS 28. I need to drink. Right, back in the game, folks. Will Hamer on the hill. Very quick, but Alex Summers leading the way in practice in the DJ Firehawk. Won the British Hill Climb Championship in the past, been runner-up a couple of 3 times as well. Well, this boy can really drive this car. My goodness me, this is the quickest little Firehawk's gone for some while. Here it comes. It's been in the garage at home for a couple of years. And it was last man standing, I was told, and one of the others was broke. But anyway, through to the finish. Wow, 38.50. He says, that's the way to do it, isn't it? Miles the quickest so far. Well, who's going to bet against Alex Summers tomorrow when it comes to the 1100 class? Absolute fantastic driving. Ben Hamer on the hill now. He's in his OMS 3000M. Again, little bike engine car screaming up the hill, and he'll be followed by Emma Rayson, who's on the line at the moment. Again, Scott Rayson's wife from the Channel Islands. Let's see what he does. So Ben Hamer, wide out of semi there, gets over the line in a 40.14, 7th quickest. Now here comes Emma Rayson in this Empire 00. Beautifully put together, these Empires. They're made in Somerset by Bill Chaplin, and nearly all of them run bike engines. This one's no exception. Sparking there, going down into Pardon Hairpin, round Pardon Hairpin. Into the S's. Bernie Cavill leaves the line there in his Formula Ford. So Emma already going around semicircle. She did, her best was 42.34 earlier, 41.64, so that's quicker. It moves her up to 8th quickest. Bernie Cavill approaching Pardon Hairpin. We put a brand new tyre wall. You can see it on the live stream. Brand new tyres in there over the winter, so that's had a serious spoof up. Need of it. And then Richard Summers has just left the line in Family Van Diemen in the Formula Ford category. So we've got 3 Summerses out driving this weekend. So Father Richard, Lindsay Mum and Alex Summers. Oh, and Debbie Summers, of course, is also out. So the whole crew. Great to see. Fantastic supporters, the Summers family of our British Hill Climb sport. So you can see on the live stream, Prescott is looking absolutely beautiful, isn't it? Look at that, the grass is looking pristine. There's brand new growth on all the trees. There's all the bluebells out at the moment. The marshals are resplendent. Those blue skies at semi and the bright orange overalls, it just looks absolutely horrendous. Right, so we've got Lawrence Marks again in his Formula Ford, and then Liam Cooper is awaiting his turn in the Force. He's sharing with wife Olivia. It's their first visit of the year to Prescott. I haven't seen them elsewhere. And it's from my new commentary box position, which is right behind the start line. We get to see all the crowds watching, and it's always interesting when the big single seaters come out to play later on. The whole railings are actually lined with people. But that was a very swift exit there from Liam Cooper. There is a live stream on board Liam's car into Ettores now. Again, this is a little 1600 Hayabusa engine Force. Lovely little combination, this. normal induction, no turbochargers, no supercharger. Liam comes from Exeter, down in the West Country. I'll tell you what, the driver that hasn't been in the car for some while, he's making a very good job of it. Already looking very quick, going around that long semi up to the finish. 40.21. Well done, Liam. That's 5th fastest quick so far. Luke Saunders in the Rainick. Now this is a pretty car, folks. The Torode business. I think that possibly is a sponsor. I'm not sure. I'm sure Saunders are in the computer business. Well, yes, I've just found out. So Luke is driving the car now, and Luke is a paint sprayer. That's what his job is. But Nick is in computers, like I thought. They're both from the Channel Islands, and this little car is called a Rainick, so it's got a bit of Reynard in it. It's got a Hayabusa engine. They developed the car over the last 10 years. They had an oil leak problem last weekend, which they sold. The car looks to be running very well indeed. So what can he do? So Luke Saunders earlier was 7th quickest with a 41.19, and Father Nick was 6th quickest, so not much to choose between them. So we're now getting into what I would call the big boys. The big boys are coming out to play, aren't they? The 1600s, the 2 litres and the above 2 litres. So Luke Saunders, a 40.73, that is an improvement from before when he did a 41.19. Alan Warburton, wily old campaigner Alan, is here with son David. This is a 1600cc Hayabusa Gould GR59. This was one of the test bed cars for the big Goulds that you can see down in the paddock. But this one's got a motorbike engine, and Alan's a very tall man, but he manages to fit in it, tall and slim. Wow, they're getting some noisy cars here. Pete Tatham there covers up his ears there. He's got that very fancy hat on. He looks sartorially elegant man. I'm very jealous of that hat. Very nice. Okay, we have live stream on board with Paul Jones in the little Force TA that shares with Gary Gumbley. Again, this is another 1600 Hayabusa. You can see these cars, how quickly they're going, and the lines are impeccable. Well done, beautiful line through there. Into Rolt. Quick blast up the straight, just backs it off a little bit round, over the rumble strips. Yeah, that's a good smooth run from Paul, you'd be happy with that. That's a 40.89. That takes him 7th. And then we're seeing Greg Barton in the Empire Evo 3. Again, this was a very noisy car. These little bike engines are our little screamers, aren't they? And he'll be followed by John Stockley from Cardiff, who went pretty well earlier. John, he was 3rd quickest earlier. So John, he's right on the pace this weekend. That's good to see. So Greg Barton. Greg was in 10th place earlier, but John Stockley from Cardiff in the little Force PC, he's on a mission. That car looks dialed into me. Nicely round, it looks big, doesn't it? Lines perfect through there. So John Stockley, and he'll be followed by Dave Tatham, who's on the line in the Firehawk. This is his own Firehawk Mark IV. DJ cars, this is all carbon tub. Pete Tatham covers his ears up there because brother's on the line. Must be very noisy. I've got the window shut here so I can't hear, but he's away. Yes, he's absolutely. You can take your fingers out your ear now, Pete. Right, so John Stockley at 40.54 keeps him 3rd, but Dave Tatham, who was oh, hang on, everybody's yeah, we're back with it. Dave Tatham was 2nd quickest earlier. His best was 39.05 earlier. He's looking good at the moment. He's got to beat Alex Summers, and that's a big ask. Stephen Moore leads the line in the Mitsubishi Evo 6. This was the car that actually set fastest time of the day in the rally, in the Prescott rally in the winter. Dave Tatham, he's just done a 38.73. That is quicker than he did earlier, but Alex Summers did a 38.50. So actually only couple of tenths between the two of them, so that bodes well for tomorrow. Stephen Moore is now in the modified series production cars. of any engine capacity. Iron Price is leading the way in our practice times with that 47.19. Stephen Moore, farmer from near Salisbury, he was telling me yesterday he was spraying some rape, and one of the fields he was doing was 170 acres, so that's a serious field, isn't it? A lot of spraying, serious spraying. Anyway, Stephen Moore has just done a 46.35 to take him top of the pops in that class, so well done to him, but it is only practice. Andrew Henson in the Formula Ford is about halfway up the hill, and he'll be followed by Paul Harris, who is the father of Jimmy Harris. So Andrew Henson, he's a purveyor of racing cars. That's his job and his living. He's got his own company selling racing cars, so he certainly knows how to drive them as well. So Andrew Henson has just finished in a 48.3, and then he'll be followed by Caroline Ryder, who's sat on the line at the moment in her lovely little Van Diemen. So we're in the Formula Fords at the moment. And Peter's just come back in there. Did you have a nice cup of tea, Peter? Excellent. I might hand over to Peter and go and grab a quick brew and put you back to Peter Hughes.
Thanks once again to Chris for his commentary, and we pick up the Formula Fords on the hill. Caroline Ryder's done a 48.89, which is her best time of the 3 practice sessions, 5th quickest at the moment. We have Jonathan Evans sat on the hill now in the Pilbeam MP88 in the 1600 to 2 litre racing car category. Best time he's put in a competitive time of 45.34, but problems on the second one. So what can we do this time? Fisher Davis heads off the line in the Force TA, car number 851. Torres heads on up to Pardon. Jonathan Evans' time was a 44.44, so 9 tenths quicker than his first run. 8th quickest in the glass. As Tricia comes up the line, does a 42.45, which has taken her up 1 place, I think, to the quickest time, and she's now 4th quickest. Andrew Caldon into Torres. RFO2FX. Caldon has done the best of 45.07 so far. Pitt is on the line in the Dallara, the TKD V8 engine Dallara. Colburn comes then to the end of his run, does a 46.55, which is actually his slowest time of the day. Away goes Nigel Pitt. V8 powered Dallara. It's up towards the Torres. Goes away from there and up towards Pardon. Another Dallara on the line now, Steve Morgan in the F399. Number 854, Steve Morgan, it's away. Nigel Pitt makes his way up the hill. Under the bridge goes Steve Morgan. On towards Torres. Nigel Pitt down with a 41.81, so that's over a second quicker than he's gone previously today. He's third quickest in the class. Through the S's. It's on up into semicircle. And then to the line at a time of 46.76. Which is a significant improvement on the one time that he'd set previously, which was a 52.50. And we are waiting for cars to join us on the hill now, I think. I can hear a car firing up. Out onto the circuit. And it's Olivia Cooper in the Force TA, car 837, who sits on the start line now. We see on the live stream, we see onboard footage as off the line then goes the Force. Under the bridge and up towards the Torres, waiting for that right-hander. Powers away from there as Nick Saunders comes on the line in the Rainick single-seater. And around John Pardon goes Olivia. And into the S's and up towards Central. The last is a 40.30. Again, over a second quicker than his previous best, sixth quickest time in the class. Nick Saunders comes out of Pardon on up the hill in the Rainick. David Warburton is on the line in the Gould GR59. Number 139. As towards the line comes Nick Saunders. He moves up a place, he's done a 40.87. So 8th quickest in these practice runs. And just a couple of tenths improvement then on his second run of the day. David Warburton sits on the line then in the Gould. GR59, car 139 gets off the line and away. Very neat. Torres on up to Pardon. Darren Gumley is on the line, car 840 in the Force TA. So a quick time for David Warburton so far. He has got the quickest practice time so far. Isn't able to improve on that. He does a 38.66 compared to his best of 38.42. Meanwhile, Darren Gumley is Torres onboard shot. Prescott. Ian Tucker in the OMS 28 is on the start line. Up to the SS comes the Force TA. Tucker gets away, and over the finish line goes Darren Gumley with a 39.15. So that is down a little bit on his best practice time of the day, which was a 38.86, which is the second best time of the day. Ian Tucker comes up into Parden. There's Andy Hugo in the first PT, Wicks on the line. The RMS comes to the S's. Semicircle it goes, and it's a 45.39 for Ian Tucker, so down a couple of tenths on his best time of the day. Jonathan Varley rounds, Andy Hugo rounds Parden. Jonathan Varley is on the line in the GWR Predator, and away goes Jonathan. 56, Andy Hugo around semicircle, and up to the line. What can he do? He does a 42.39. He's still second quickest. Can't improve on his best of 41.57. Jonathan Varley runs Parden. Improvement is on the start line in the Pelham MP88. So it's quite a quick time from Jonathan now in the GWR Predator. Already quickest in his class, around semicircle, up to the line, and does a 40.8 run, a tenth quicker than his best run previously. As Kevin Creven goes under the ridge and up towards the Torres. Colby. Around the Torres he goes, out towards Parden. Into the left-hand haircut and up. Only the seventh quickest in his class. Terry Davis is on the line in the fourth TA, car 151. Kevin comes through semicircle, up to the line and does a 44.16, so half a second down on his best time previously. Terry Davis comes up towards the Torres in the fourth. On the right hand haircut, up towards the left hander. At Parden he goes. Colborne waits on the line in the Van Diemen RFO2FX. Terry 29th quickest in class in his practice runs. Away goes Aaron and the Van Diemen as well. Semicircle goes Terry Davis. Up towards the line and does a 43.08, his best time by over a second. Still remains seventh quickest. Aaron Colborne is into Parden and Van Diemen. Paris out of there. James Chalmers waits on the line in the World F302. Just touching the glass there, but nothing to worry about. And over the line of 41.63, his best time of the day by about a quarter of a second. He's the quickest in class as James Chalmers gets away in the vault. Running in class K2 for the 1600 up to 2004 induction single-seaters. The rounds Parden. Tom Morgan is on the line in the Dallara F399. Through semicircle, James Chalmers up to the line to do a 41.82, his best time of the day by about 1.25 seconds. He's sixth quickest now from one place. Tom Morgan in the Dallara out of the Torres on up to Parden. Currently sixth quickest amongst the class. a time of 41.74, his best time. Well, momentarily it looked like he'd just done his best time of the day, but then the time disappears off our timing screens. I'm not quite sure what happened there. So a little bit of a lull now, no cars waiting to go out. Wait to see what will come next. Well, now we do have a car coming up to the line. And onto the line it comes. This is car 161, Andy Short. In the OMS 28. Right away he goes. Under the bridge. Up towards Scatoris. Alexander sits on the line in the fourth TA as Andy Short rounds Pardon. Just a little bit smoky though as he came through just below the S's. Still seems to be running okay. There's more smoke there visible. He's into semicircle, up towards the line, and does a 44.50, which is over 2 seconds down on his best time of the day. As Richard Alexander comes through Tories in the fourth TA. His best time so far is a 44.53, and he spins on the exit of Pardon, and so the red flags come out in the car broadside. No damage done by the looks of it, but he's broadside across the track just on the exit of Pardon. Dean Ty is sat on the start line in the Empire Wraith, but of course he won't be able to start until Richard Alexander's issues are dealt with. The marshals are with him. Not sure if they're going to head him back down the hill or on up. We'll find out in a moment or two. We see a replay on the live stream. He's into Pardon and just puts the power on just momentarily too soon, and around comes the back end. So the marshal's just pushing him back, and it looks as if he's about to head back down the hill. Not too much space to spare up there. So it's a multi-point turn for the fourth TA. Hello to Pod 372 who's just joined the online chat. So Richard is not going to improve on that best time of 44.53 in practice, but I suppose if you're going to have a spin, practice is the time to do it, not during the timed runs. He's off down the hill. Follows the original route, short hill route. used just once a year these days, the short route for the vintage cars. That will be in September, I believe. As he comes back under the bridge in the wrong direction, he'll head off into the paddock, and then we should be able to get things running again straight away. Marshall just directed him then off into the paddock. So next up is going to be 163, Dean Ty in the Empire race. He's just getting pushed off the line, in fact. So it seems we have to wait just a little bit longer before we see more cars on the hill. These forced induction racing cars currently having their final practice run of the day. Tomorrow we'll see a final practice run starting at 8:30 and then followed by timed runs. It appears there's some sort of must be some sort of oil spillage on the hill as the absorbent powder is put down to clear that oil by the marshals, doing their usual efficient job. Hats off to them. That will need some sweeping, but it looks like it's pretty much all the way around. Pardon that spillage. Marshall's just sweeping it now. Some sweeping we done higher up as well, actually, around the S's area. So whether possibly the oil was spilt by one of the earlier cars and just caught out, Richard Alexander, I don't know, I'm just speculating. So the marshals are all the way up the hill now, checking the track and sweeping anything that might even remotely be an issue. The clerk of the course on the hill as well now, just to inspect the track. Yes, don't forget, if you're watching online, watching the live stream, then and you're enjoying it, then please give the stream a like if you haven't already done so. really sure how much impact this will have on the remaining times this afternoon for the cars yet to run. We'll soon find out. Afternoon to Dominic Walters 194 has just joined the chat online. Of course, we remain under red flag for the time being. There's just a little bit of additional absorbent powder being put down on the hill, pardon, and a bit more sweeping to be done. Just looking at the overall times, it is Will Hall who's set the fastest time so far in practice, ahead of Wallace Mingies and Matthew Ryder. Trevor Willis fourth and Paul Holmes fifth.
Hello, Peter.
Hello there.
I have just had a wonderful ice cream, mate. I've had the honeycomb crunch, right, strawberry ripple, and rum and raisin on the top, and a flake in the middle, and some red stuff, all from old Bob up there on the Bennett's ice cream.
And you were telling me this because?
I'm telling you this, so if you want to go and get yourself one,
I might be tempted in a moment or two.
Yes, it's quite hot in here. So why are we stopped at the moment? What's happened?
We have oil or...
Oh my word, we have a lot of oil.
Significant amount, yes, unfortunately.
Whereabouts is that, Peter?
That's at Pardon.
Ah, okay. We don't like that, do we?
And we did have a spin, so
Yep.
I'm not quite sure whether it was the spinning car that dropped the oil or whether he was caught out by the oil.
Ah, see, so you've got... okay, I've just took my glasses off.
Lots of absorbent powder. Lots of absorbent powder down.
Ty, has he been up? He's on the line.
He hasn't. He's waiting
on the line.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so
in fact, they've
Dean's
dropped him
our
back
Australian
now,
chum, isn't he?
Yes.
Now I see we've got all the marshals out there all doing their thing, put the white dust down, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. Was it 2022? Dean Toy was the Australian champion?
Yes. Oh, yes. Very, very talented driver indeed.
Yeah, indeed, yeah.
And I've been super impressed with his time so far.
Yeah.
He was super quick at Loughton Park and at Shelsley, so he's going to stay over all summer, he was telling me.
Yes, so I understand, yeah.
And the car, of course, is the Empire Wraith, just like Zach Zammett's got. It's the William Towett designed car, so it's a real beautiful flying machine, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
But he has the talent to drive it well. And if you have a look in the paddock, if you look at the engineering on the car, by the engine, he's fabricated all the metal bits on there because he had an engineering company in Australia.
Oh, right, yeah.
Beautifully put together.
Yeah.
So he's a very fine engineer,
Right.
but also extremely talented driver.
And a valuable addition to the British Championship.
Fabulous addition. Yeah. Now, of course, our first Aussie we saw over here was Wayne Penrose last year, and the year, last year we met him, didn't we? And Wayne brought his Super Bug, his Super Beetle, which apparently is in transit at the moment, I think.
Right.
So that's going to be over here for this summer.
Great.
He's going to leave the car over here and do some of the rounds, so he'll fly backwards and forwards, and Pontos jet, I expect.
Yeah.
And good day to Wayne, if you're watching in, Wayne, on the live stream. I do love the live stream. We got viewers from all over the world, don't we? Isn't it fantastic?
Absolutely, yeah, it is good, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Lots of people joining in as well, and
yes, I heard you reading some of the things out.
Yeah.
Just looking here, we're in the quickest so far.
Well, these are the overall positions that we have here, rather than the class ones, of course.
Yes, that's right. And now I was talking to Alex Coles just outside. He's just waiting outside for his run. And they've had some fueling issues to deal with today.
Oh, right.
So considering that, they're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
This is the day to sort them out, I suppose, isn't it?
Yes, better today than tomorrow.
So looks like, look, they put that dust down there. It is only practice, and so hopefully, I've known it where the oil's been put all the way up the track pretty much.
Yeah,
and then we had one last year where up by Bridge that was a huge amount of oil, and unfortunately sort of brought an end to proceedings, didn't it?
Unfortunately, yes, yeah.
Anyway,
fingers crossed we're all right now to get going again. But
what's your favourite car today?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
It might well be the Russell Brooks liveried Escort. Just because
Russell Brooks liveried Escort.
Yeah.
Simon Braithwaite.
Yeah.
In the the Anglian TV,
yeah.
ATV car,
which was a sponsorship Russell had before he moved on to Andrew's Heat for Hire, which was his long-time sponsor, of course.
Right. I'm just going to pop you up there a little bit.
Yeah, it keeps dropping down my microphone.
He's got a dropping mic here, haven't you? Unless you pull that up a fraction.
Yeah.
Nobody wants a dropping mic, Peter, do they?
No, absolutely not.
Can't have your dulcet Welsh tones toned down, can we?
Definitely not, no.
No.
A huge loss, wouldn't it?
If you don't know Peter Hughes, he's a very famous commentator. He commentates on rallying. You've done rugby, haven't you?
Yeah.
You write journals, don't you, and stuff like that?
Yeah, I've done rallycross, I've done motorcycle racing.
Goodness me.
Yeah.
Most things, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm afraid all I've done is hill climbing. So it makes me pretty weedy, doesn't it?
You do it so well, though.
Hey, well, we have a bit of fun, don't we, really?
Well, I haven't handed out a compliment. Perhaps I should go and get an ice cream now, do you think?
Do you know what? I would grab one while the going is good. I'll hold the fort for a while, and then we'll just carry on and see how we go.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, go and see Bob, say I sent you, and he'll do your special commentator's rates. That's the way forward, isn't it? Say, you want one like Ponciad, eh? Well, now the clerk of the course, he's just coming back down, and well, that's good. Just looking here, looking at programs, blah blah blah. So at the moment we've still got plenty of the quick runners to come, and then we've still got the New Barn Championship as well. So Peter's just gone out to get an ice cream. The ice cream man is situated just above the start line there. Bennett's Ice Creams, proper jobs, homemade things, delicious. And I think it's a fair chance Kevin might. Yes, Kevin is here. Kevin is Mr. Whippy, and he's further up the hill, up past the clubhouse on the far end as you approach Torres. So I should imagine they're having a reasonable day. Obviously, they've been out on the last couple of meetings, and it's been freezing cold and not so nice. So I think we need to hope they have a good day, because otherwise they'll... Oh, goodness me, I hear engines. Oh, I do. I see. We've got Dean Ty himself. Here he is in this Empire liveried car, but it is an Empire Wraith, and this one is there's a few of these on the hills actually. They're all running the Suzuki turbocharged 1300cc engines. They've probably got about 400 horsepower on a good day. In fact, I think this has more than that actually. I may be doing him a disservice. But for a guy that's never seen the hill before, I think he's doing extraordinarily well actually. Young Dean Ty. He's not Australian champion in the past for no reason. And I'm sure he's going to go quicker and quicker through the weekend, but he's away. Wow, into fourth gear just by bridge there. He was 75 miles an hour through the bridge. Here he comes now approaching Torres. And I think if you've not been here before, to suddenly arrive here and then drive mega quick is some achievement actually. Now he's the first one over all the dust. My goodness me, that's a good photographic opportunity for any photographers up there. He certainly got around there no problem at all. It didn't seem to affect him other than the fact it's really dusty. He's into roll corner. He heads up towards semicircle. Round semi up to the finish, and he records a time of 40.96. And at the moment he's got some catching up to do with all our regular competitors. Kelvin Broad from Exeter sharing with Alex Coles, of course. He's just left the line in that little Force TA Mistral. This is again a little 1300 bike engine book, but this one's got a supercharger on it. And since Alex has joined Kelvin, they've had some fantastic meetings to be fair, and now he goes through the dust there. It's gradually getting blown away a bit. Don't seem to be any issues anyway, that's the main thing. Everyone's obviously happy. The clerks of the course are more than happy that what oil was there has been dealt with properly. A little bit twitchy coming out of a bend they call Rolt. Up the line, off to the finish, and a time of 41.19. So Calvin is, and his quickest time is 40.86 in this 1600 to 2 litre forced induction cars. Rupert Marks coming to have a look at our screen here. One of our, driving the Bugatti Brescia today, actually, Rupert. Rupert of the fine head of hair, I have to say. I'm very jealous of that head of hair. Fantastic. Right, now, oh yes, this is another forced induction car. This is Paul Hames. This is in the Gould GR59. This is again a 1300cc car, but with a turbo fitted on it. So Paul Hames from Farnham in Surrey. He's another man that's in the computer business, and he's pointing to the Marshall. Is the engine running still? I think it is, right. He's got his visor down. We've got no red lights. He'll be shooting off into the sun. It's very bright down here now. They're going straight into the sun. I don't know how that affects the drivers, whether they're wearing sunglasses underneath the helmet. Do not know, but they've got a visor on actually that looks to be doing that job for them. This one's got a blue visor there. This car immaculately turned out, isn't it? Beautiful. Now he'll have a very close battle with Alex Coles this weekend. They're in similar sorts of vehicles. This one has certainly got over 400 horsepower on tap through those rear wheels. Gets ready to rumble. Or not. A rumbling he will go shortly. The chock is under the back wheel. Right, pulls away. He's just over 2 seconds for the first 64 feet. He's 99 miles an hour through the speed trap by Bridge there. A big squeal of the tyres through Torres. He gets it round there though. He's certainly having a go considering his practice. Now he's into the dust, through the dust. What a beautiful car. That sits on that tarmac beautifully. Round rocked. What I'm looking forward to is the next on board, the next who's got one of those on board. But anyway, Paul Hames through to the finish. That's a 38.14, which is slower than his time earlier of 37.74. So maybe he was just being a bit more gingerly, just going through that dusty area or that potential oily area through Torres. I think it's pretty dry there now, so, you know, all good. Engine started up behind me. It is the car of Jamie or Paul, John Chalmers or Jamie Chalmers. We will see which one it is in a second. It is John Chalmers. John's owned this car for a long time. This is what they call a Rolt F302. Now this one always reminds me, it's actually quite a unique car, this one. Not many of these made. I think this was the only one of this particular model. It runs a 1400cc turbocharged Suzuki engine in it, and it's got well north of 400 horsepower. Pops and bangs its way up the hill usually. Very rapid exit, under 2 seconds, 1.98 for the first 64 feet. That's very rapid indeed. So John Chalmers already round Torres. He's going to be followed by Richard Alexander, who's in the Force TA. This is his brand new car this year, he was telling me. Last year's car was sold and has gone to Australia. But anyway, this silver machine is his brand new Force. And we are still in the forced induction category. 72 miles an hour through the speed trap. He's here with his family today. So, Paul Hames still leading in practice with that 37.74. Alex Coles has still got to have his third run. So Paul Hames did that 38.14. Now that is the Pilbeam Judd that Sandra Tomlin owns. Is it it is Sandra driving it. Yeah, she owns this car. She bought this in 2013. This is a brand new Pilgrim, one of the last of the Pilgrims made for hill climbing. They were a dominant car, but of course Gould Engineering, Goulds have taken over that slot at the moment, and Pilgrims, although they're still manufacturing, they're not so much doing stuff for hill climbs. Anyway, Sandra is away in that 4-litre V8 Judd-powered car. Is one of the prettiest cars you'll see here today. Absolutely lovely to watch. And Sandra's here with her son, Oliver. He goes through all the dust at Itores. Sandra will be followed by Lynn Owen. We're in the racing cars over 2 litres class now, the big boys and girls. So Lynn's away. Sandra Tomlin finishes in a 47.54. Lynn Owen, married to Steve Owen, who builds these OMS cars at York, and very effective they are too. Actually, they've got basically little OMSs. They run up to 600 class, up to 1 litre class, and any class. Now, this I am excited about, folks. This is the Gould 84. This is the car that in 1985 took Chris Kramer to the championship, and David is here today. David Gould, and with his son Sean. He is the man that set up Gould Engineering, and this was the first car they built that was a serious hill climb car, built for the absolute job. All their own design, beautiful honeycomb aluminium body tub on that one, 2.5 non-turbocharged 4-cylinder Hart engine in it, and doesn't that just look an absolute picture? That is David driving the car. I would say that is, for me, my car of the day. I know I like retro, but doesn't that look pretty? Fabulous bit of kit. No real fancy electrics on that car. All good. And then you're going to be followed by Harry Pick in the glorious little OMS 28. Harry, young driver from Leamington. He's here with his father. And this one runs a 2.8 IndyCar V8, so probably pushing 600 horsepower out of that car. David Gould approaches the finish. He'll be pleased with this day's work. First time he's driven the ranges, 50.37. Harry Pick well away, and he'll be followed by Paul Crute in the OMS 28, sporting the 3-litre Jaguar V8 road car engine. A V6 Jaguar. So the car's getting quicker, drivers are getting quicker. Harry Pick did well earlier, he's in 6th place on practice earlier. What can he do this time? He takes it round semi, possibly might be, 39, slower. So they're just going a little bit slower. Perhaps they felt they've done their day's work, they've seen what they want to see. And now, of course, they've got a lovely last run into the sun. And why not? You'd want to have your run today. You've got some very exciting cars here this weekend. Very excited to see those the Moran Fiesta and the Moran Evo. Paul Crute away, that fabulous sounding V6, it's not got huge horsepower, but doesn't it look a picture? The Jackie Stewart racing, the old Jaguar livery there. And then Ed Burgess is away in that lovely Gould GR55, again with a 2.5-litre V6 in it. Sounds absolutely fantastic. Oh, Ed has a little bit of a moment coming out of the pardon there. Holds it all together. So the car really gets your attention, actually. Loads of power there. Bugatti record holder as well. So very appropriate. But he thought, well, I'll buy myself a Gould, and why not? This is the James Baxter car. He's through the finish. Ed Burgess at 40.97. Simon Jenks in a car that runs the same engine as Ed's car, again a 2.5-litre V6. And this is Simon's had this car a year or two now, and he's slowly getting to grips with it. It's a big step up from what he had before. He had a Caterham before, and he was very quick in that class. But this is a whole new ball game, this car. So that's the Force TA, little slide there going down there. Most of them are doing that. That's up to throttle there, coming out of Victoria's into the S's. Then going off next is going to be Alex Coles, this sensational young driver from Plymouth, young electrician, sharing with Calvin Broad. He had some fantastic results last year, finished 8th in the British Championship, and this is the 1300 with the supercharger on it. Bit of work on the car over the winter, and it's looking good so far. Oh my goodness, he's showing purple sector, so he's absolutely on a mission. Alex Coles, what can you do? This is just practice, mate. It doesn't really matter, but he's showing them what he's capable of. He's just slowed up a fraction. He's a bit raggedy. He's having a go, but he's a young man, so he's entitled to have a go, isn't he? Through to the finish in a 38.27, which places him second. No, it doesn't. He's still second to Paul Hayes. So that's a slower run than he had earlier. So maybe just a bit raggedy, trying a bit hard. Now we get back to some historic stuff. This is Martin Jones in this lovely, lovely BT21 Brabham. This is pure racing car, isn't it? Really old school racing car. No wings, no spoilers. Lovely little engine in the back there. In fact, Richard Jones holds the class record here for, this is sports racing cars manufactured up to 1971. Richard Jones holds the class record here in BT29X Brabham at 42.25. So today, going a lot slower, but tomorrow's the day that counts. Through the finish there in a 49.80. Now we've got the big boys are coming out to play. We've got David Uren in the Gould GR55B. What a car this is. Rebuilt over the winter after a heavy impact at Lowton last year at the very end of the season. And David normally shares his car with Nicola Mingus, Wallace's wife, and this one has got the Cosworth, Nicholson McLaren Cosworth engine in the back of it. It's still got lots of horsepower, and on a good day could well have up to 600 horsepower. But anyway, so it's great to see it rebuilt. It's a driver from Redditch. He's had a lot of work to rebuild it. Andy Tippett leads the line in the BT38 Brabham. This is the big Rover V8 engine car. So David Uren through the clocks at 39.04. That's not as good as his earlier time. So it does look like a lot of the cars are not going quite as quick as they were. What do you reckon, Peter? Peter's come back. From his ice cream.
Very nice ice cream as well. Thank you for the recommendation. I suspect that they're just hesitating a little bit when they see that dust at Pardon there. And that's probably what's making the difference. As Andy Tippett goes up the line, does a 47.26, so he's about 3/4 of a second down on his best time. Trevor Willis on the line now. And away goes Trevor in the OMS.
The most successful OMS driver in history too. 3 times the champion OMS car. So that's a fair go. Yeah. Oh. Peter's just getting into the high chair, the throne as we call it. For our most experienced commentator, of course, so we're giving him pole position. He's earned that, I reckon, over the years.
You're too kind, you really are.
I'm just the whippersnapper, Peter, aren't I? The apprentice.
I think you're being ageist there. William Hall is on the line, and the Gould GR59J, he gets away. So Trevor Willis not able to better his fastest time. William Hall certainly looks to be trying out a couple of quickest sections. Kicks up the dust through Pardon into the S's. William already fastest of the day here, 36.01 as he rounds semicircle to the line, and it's a 36.31, so just 0.3 down on his best time.
Right now, one of my favourites, Wallace Mingus. Wow. Look at this car, folks. What a spectacular car and driver. I even like the Union Jack on his helmet too, but he comes from Bonnie, Scotland, doesn't he? This car, you won't miss it. Very, very serious contender for the Hill Climb Championship again this year. Won it 4 times. Who'd be bet against the 5th?
I certainly wouldn't. As you say, the Union Jack, but also the cross of the Scottish cross on the top of the helmet as well. As Wallace comes now into Pardon, and all the dust hangs the tail out a little bit around there. It really does seem to be trying his second quickest so far today, as Matthew Ryder prepares for his run to start in the Gold GR 59. And this is looking good for Wallace as he comes up the line. It's not going to be as quick as he has been though at 37.09, so still second quickest. Matthew Ryder then, our reigning champion, is about to get underway. He's third quickest so far today, but 2/3 of a second splitting him from William Hall, the fastest car of the day yet. As he goes into Torres, up to Pardon. Doesn't look as if he bangs the tail out there as he comes out of Pardon as well, but it doesn't look like he's bettering his earlier time either. On he heads then around semicircle up to the line, and it's a 37.09, so about 1/3 of a second down on his previous best.
Now here's one of my favourite cars. This is Oliver Tomlin, Sandra Tomlin's lad. So he's a grown lad these days, isn't he? And anyway, this is that lovely old Pilbeam MP97, 4 litres of Judd V8 in the back of it. He's not hanging about. Yes, it's probably not as quick as the very latest generation of cars, but what a sight this car is, Peter.
It really is, isn't it? It does look good on the hill as he goes into Pardon. Powers it away then. Stephen Owen is waiting on the start line meanwhile. His OMS 28 RPE. That's Oliver Tomlin up to semicircle, up to the line, does a 40.76, and that is in fact Oliver's best time of the day. 9th quickest in class. Stephen Owen comes into Torres and away from him, up to Pardon, up towards that white trail where the absorbing material, a little bit twitchy through there. Away he goes, on up towards the S's. Around semicircle, up to the line, and does a 40.26, so about 1/4 of a second down on his best time of the day.
Well, we have David Gould again. Well, I don't know if it might be not Sean this time, but I thought I saw David just now. This lovely Gould, the 84G car. I think this is the old school car. I love that air intake on the back there. The wing, he was telling me, was some of it was of an FW07 Williams. Right, there's side bits. Anyway,
yeah.
Patrick had something to do with this car. He was friends of the Goulds.
Right.
But this little car, this is a 4-cylinder engine, not the big V8. It was a 2.5 litre.
That's just
yes,
changed,
it is
doesn't
Sean,
it?
yes.
Yeah,
They've got the same coloured helmet. Perhaps they're sharing helmets. Who knows?
Yes.
Perhaps David hasn't bought a new helmet lately. But this is Sean Gould, holder of Hill records elsewhere. Retired from the big Goulds, and he sold that one. He had a half sharing with Matthew Ryder. This is the original Gould, the first one they built that was built for the job. What do you think?
And away he goes with a lovely car, and how good must it be to be driving a car that bears your name as the manufacturer? As certainly David can claim for us with this earlier car. Around Torres, looking pretty clean through there, into on and away. Perhaps a little bit cautious, I'm not sure, to be honest, through there. This is the last, I think, of the over 2 litre racing cars to get the third run, as Rupert Marks heads away in the Bugatti to Brescia, and Sean Gould coming to the end of the run, and it's a 42.90. That's his quickest time of the day.
Yeah, that's good, isn't it? That's great. Rupert Marks in the Brescia on the hill. Look at that lovely old Bugatti. That's only a 1500cc car.
Absolutely, it's wonderful, isn't it?
Fabulous, isn't it?
The gear change on the outside of the car, of course.
And then next, your favourite car on the line, Simon Braithwaite.
Absolutely. Rupert looks as if he is setting his best time of the day so far. So we see that escort. ATV today. ATV actually isn't Anglia, it's Associated Television. It was the Midlands.
Oh right, okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
Not many people know that.
Not many people know that.
And the best time of the day for Simon Braithwaite with a 61.74. Sorry.
No, absolutely right. No, that's interesting because I think it was the 1971 car, the replica of that car, and the car that Simon has built there started off life as an 1100, and now it's got a full all singing, all dancing BDG. And if you look at the prep on that car, it's as good as any works car.
Yes, yeah, and he's he's about a second and a half down on his best time with a 51.52. Ross McDonald is in the Porsche Carrera. Well, it says 2.7, but you're saying it's 3.3 in that?
Yes, I think you'll find it's a 3.3. It would have been a 2.7, but it's there was a great big fact sheet on this car last year. But yeah, it's 3.3 I think at the moment. But lovely, isn't it?
It is great. Yeah, yeah. He goes through semicircle, and his time of 51.74. So that is his quickest time of the day by just a tenth of a second or so, as Ashley Mead heads up towards Pardon.
So we're now in the Bugatti Owners Club New Barn Speed Championship practice. Their third practice, isn't it, of the day?
It is.
We've got such a big entry today, that's why they're only getting about 3 runs, isn't it?
Yeah. Also on the hill is Andrew Till in the Honda Civic Type R GT. He runs Ettores. So Ashley Mead comes towards the end of his run. Not quite able to match his best time of the day. He does a 66.03. Ben Elwood is on the hill, the second of the Honda Civics on the hill. And Will Wilgoff is on the start line in the Alfa Romeo 4C.
I'll tell you what, that's a special car, that for Alfa, isn't it?
It is very,
it's
very
a lot of carbon fibre in there. Is it got a turbo on that one or not? 1750. 4-cylinder, I think.
I think, yeah. I don't think it's turbo. I'm not sure. It might be. You might be right.
I don't know, but either way, it's a beautiful, a very lightweight car, isn't it? Which makes it really good.
Yes. Yeah. Tom Mogorossi is on the start line with the Porsche Boxster S. As Wilgoff comes out of Ettores on up to Pardon. Ben Elwood with a good time there, 53.37. His best time of the day and second quickest on scratch times in this New Barn Speed Championship.
Now we think the New Barn is a handicap class because obviously there's a wide variety of cars. Tom Mogorossi on the hill at the moment. This is his daily driver, this Porsche Boxster. He brings it to Prescott on a Thursday. He's one of our volunteers here. And yeah, the Alfa's just heading up towards the finish and it's going to record a time of 59.34. Tom Mogorossi about halfway up, just going round Ettores, and he will be followed by Rob Guttridge in that little Renault Twingo 133, which is actually Tom Mogorossi's old car.
I was going to say, didn't Tom used to drive one of those? Yeah.
Yeah, quite right.
Yeah. Tom goes through semicircle and does a time of 54.24. That's his quickest time of the day. 5th quickest scratch time in this championship. Guttridge is on the hill now in the Renault Twingo. Behind him will be Patrick Hadley in the VW Golf 4Motion.
That's an interesting car, that Golf. When I first spoke to him, he was here with his wife, and this is the car that they take down to Sainsbury's. This is their shopping car. And if you look at the car, it's in immaculate condition. Beautiful little thing.
Yeah.
Little V6 engine, isn't it?
Yeah.
Highly desirable little car, that.
Yeah. You don't see that many of them about.
No, you really don't, do you? And that is, I said to him, if you want to sell it, let me know, because I would definitely have that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
He drives it very spiritedly too, doesn't he?
He does indeed, yeah, yeah. Chris Higginbottom in the Abarth Competizione is on the line at the moment as Rob Guttridge comes towards the end of his run in the Twingo. He does a 69.82, that is well down, nearly 7 seconds down on his best time, so might have been some issue on that run, I suspect. Higginbottom is on the hill now. David Keeling is on the start line in the Westfield 7 as Patrick Hadley in that Golf 4Motion comes to the line. He's done a 56.80, about quarter of a second down on his best time. Chris Higginbottom comes into pardon. And out again, David Keeling is on the hill now in the Westfield 7. Mike Brakes will be next up. Car 190, the Ford Fiesta ST150.
Christopher Higginbottom approaching the finish in the Abarth Competizione, and he's just recorded a time of 56.61. David Keeling on the hill, and he'll be followed by Mike Brakes in the Fiesta 150. That has just left the line. That's his regular competition car. So we've seen quite a lot of him over the last year or so, haven't we?
Yeah, quite a twitch there for him in the S's. Chris Higginbottom was set his best time of the day with like 57.61 that he recorded as David Keeling comes to the line. Does a 55.76, about 4/10ths down on his best time, but I'm not surprised given the twitch that he had there towards the end of the hill as Mike Brakes comes out of pardon and Chris Heritage gets the Dax Rush off the line. So Mike Brakes coming through the S's. George Perks is waiting on the line now in the Renault Clio 182 Cup car.
Now I was chatting to George while you were on the mic earlier actually. He's only a local lad from Evesham. He's about to have the line. He's going to go off the line in his little Clio 182 Cup car. And you watch that car, that's a very quick little young driver too, so he won't be hanging about, and he's not top of the fastest for no reason. Indeed,
yeah. Mike Brakes did a 57.70, which is very nearly a second down on his best time as George Perks round Torres. Alan McFarlane waits on the line in the John Cooper Works Mini. Christopher Heritage has done a 55.50 in the Dax Rush. That's second and a half down on his best time. He is fourth quickest amongst the championship contenders in these practice runs.
So that little Clio is quicker than those two very quick Hondas, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's surprising, isn't it? But it is.
Normally aspirated Renault.
Yeah.
Very quick little car, well driven too.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. 53.45, so about a third of a second or so down on his best time. Alan McFarlane is on the hill in the John Cooper Works Mini.
So this will be one of the, oh look at that, Alan McFarlane is was that 90 miles an hour? No, it couldn't be right, was it 56? And it's gone now. So Alan McFarlane in the John Cooper Works Mini, I think these are these 1600 supercharged or turbocharged, Peter?
If I remember rightly, some were supercharged and some, then later they switched to turbocharged, I think.
Right. Yeah, not sure. So he makes his way up the hill, and we're going to see Steve Perry. He's in one of these Mazda MX-5s. Very popular car now on the hills. Very affordable, easy to get hold of spares, cheap parts really. what a great way of starting hill climbing is to grab yourself a little MX-5.
Absolutely, totally agree with you on that. David Arrowsmith is waiting on the line in the Vauxhall Corsa VXR Club Sport. Alan McFarlane does a 57.20.
Now, if I remember rightly, this VXR Club Sport, Lloyd Hackett was telling us last time, it's something like 270 brake horsepower. So it's a real little...
They are, yeah, very quick for their size, certainly. Steve Perry then in the MX-5 towards the end of his run, round semicircle. Over the line in 60.38, again 4/10 down on his best time as the Vauxhall Corsa works its way up the hill. Richard Banks is off the line, meanwhile in the MGZR 1400cc machine.
Quite capable, aren't those little Rovers, actually? A little 1400cc, but they've been very successful, and I've always likened them to sort of a bit of a modern day Astra, but
they've done well in club rallying
as well.
They?
Yeah, really successful little car.
Yeah.
That would be a very good selection to start hill climbing in, wouldn't it?
Yeah, a little bit of a lock-up into Pardon there, but he's cleanly out of there. Richard Banks. Ben Weeks is on the hill in the BMW M140i. Kevin Davis lining up now in the KTM Road Sport machine as Richard Banks round semicircle. And his time is a 60.75. That's his quickest time of the day as Ben Weeks comes out of Pardon in the BMW.
Now this surprised me earlier because I noticed he was third quickest, and so is that it's not a 4 litre in that one, Peter, is it? What's it, a 140?
Yeah.
So does that mean it's a 4 litre in a 1 series?
I think it might be,
4 litre injected?
Yeah.
So that's going to be a potent combination, isn't
Absolutely, yeah. So it'll be a 6, obviously, 6-cylinder. Meanwhile, Karen Davis makes his way up in the Caterham. Ben Weeks was nearly a second off his best time, in fact, with his third run of the day. Leslie Martin waiting on the line in the Mazda MX-5. Davis coming towards the end of his run. And does a 56.08, which has moved him some way up the order. In fact, it's a second and a half improvement on his previous best time, and he's now 9th quickest in the championship in these practice runs.
So Leslie Martin just leaves the line in the modern MX-5. This is the latest version, 2 litre, isn't it? And I think actually my favourite body shape, actually, I think they're rather good looking little things, these now.
Yeah.
Again, but I think, again, the sage that is Lloyd who sells these things, I said, how much do one of these cost you? He said, well, it could be up to like 15 grand, you know.
Yeah.
Surprised me a bit. But then I'm not one for buying newish cars, Peter, so... You know what I mean? I only run old bangers, don't I? Eh?
If
my
you say
newest car
so.
is 2007.
Yeah.
It's got the lights on there as well, actually, to be fair, just to let them know she's coming. Yeah. And it's going to be followed by Tim Burgess in the BMW Z4. Now, I do like these, actually. I think they're pretty. And I think they're a good buy for the future, these. I think they're an appreciated asset.
Yeah.
Yeah, particularly that version like that with the sort of the hatchback on the back.
Yeah. I like the Z3 as well, the predecessor.
Yep, very nice.
Another MX-5 on the line, that's Gary James' car, 201.
Well, that one's got the hood down, hasn't it? So, the biggest selling sports car of all time, I'm told.
Absolutely.
And not for no reason, because most of them are running a 1600 or 1800 or 2 litre twin cam engine, aren't they? You've got the right bit fuel injected, I'm guessing. And reliable Japanese reliability, isn't it?
Absolutely. But inspired by British sports cars, of course.
Yes, absolutely true. Yes, Colin Chapman inspired, really, isn't it? Elan inspired, I would say.
Yeah. Jonathan Elwood is on the line in his Honda Civic Type R. He gets away. As Gary James heads on up out into the S's. A lovely little Austin A40 and Mike Terra waits on the line, car 209.
That's one of my favourites, actually, because the last meeting had a load of problems with starting it up, and it turned out to be a load of muck in the jets and the fuel filter, and then he also took the fuel tank out, and there was a load of sludge in it. So now it's sounding very crisp now.
Gary James has just done his best time of the day with a 59.71. The A40 is on the hill. My school teacher having one of my school teachers having an Austin A40, but it was a relatively new car in those days.
I'm going to say, that's true, Well, they've always run those little A-series engines, haven't they? Were the early ones 1 litres, were they probably, or 1100?
I believe they were 1 litre.
1 litre, But that one of Mike's, it sits on the road very well, doesn't it?
It does indeed,
It must have been beefed up a bit.
Yeah. It's another one of my favourites on the hill now, and that's the Alfa Romeo 75, which I think is a lovely saloon car, Jim Smith.
Well, Jim Smith, he's one of my fishing mates, and I used to work with Jim on my old job in the Environment Agency. And Jim is here with his partner Nicky. Look at that, and he's had that car. The engine's all been out, and it's all been properly tuned up. It's and the bodywork's looking good on it, isn't it?
It is.
Isn't it?
I really do like them. I like the car, but I liked them when they were contemporary cars.
Unusual, aren't they?
Yes. That was the thing with Alfa Romeos. You never felt they were being designed by computers. You felt like there was a human touch in them.
I agree.
Not the same as everything else.
That car that's following as Jim goes to the line is Julian Harbour. I haven't seen Julian out for a while. He's from Cheltenham. This lovely little Mini. This has got the 1275 front on it, and that's a well-sorted Mini, that, isn't it?
It's a lovely looking car, isn't it?
Yeah, love that.
And Bowditch also on the hill at the moment in the VW Golf R. Stephen Norris queuing up in the MGB Roadster.
Now, Ben Bowditch, I remember speaking to him a year or two back. He's a mechanic from down south, so he'll know his way. But these Golf Rs are very understated, aren't they? 300 horsepower.
Yeah, deceptive. Yeah.
Potent, isn't it?
Yeah. Stephen Norris makes his way in the MGB Roadster.
Stephen Norris is the car that rebuilt Jim Smith's engine, so he's got a car restoration business near Tewkesbury.
Oh yeah.
And so he's very, very clever, and lots of people use him actually. This is his second season now in this MGB. It's relatively standard, but he has started lightening it a little bit by putting 1 or 2 lighter bits on it, I noticed.
Yeah. I've got an MGB GT road car, which I like, but I've always preferred the Roadster, but they do tend to fetch rather more money than the GTs.
What the Roadsters do?
Roadsters do, yeah.
Do they?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Mine's
when you say the Roadster, is that the soft top version?
Yeah.
So the GT is the
hatchback.
The hard version.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I've got one of the limited edition, the Jubilee.
Have you? Perhaps we'll see it one day. Perhaps you'll bring it up.
I must bring it up one day, yeah.
Give it a run, eh?
Yeah.
Lars Loftus, Caterham Superlight R. He's having a bit of a go, isn't he? So he's looking to improve on his times. He was quickest in the class earlier on scratch times. And 47.17, he does improve on it too, actually. So we're in the Bugatti Owners Club Handicap Sports Cars class.
Indeed, and another MGB Roadster just going through, pardon, that's Daniel Carroll's car.
Now Dan Carroll, he was a helicopter engineer, and now he's moved up to near Eton. He was down Yeovilton, I think. Anyway, he's having a go with his friend Steve. I don't think Steve's out today. I don't think he can get an entry. So Dan Carroll, here he comes. Him a big beard. He looks like a big wrestler chap. Fellow he is. Don't pick a fight with Big Dan, eh?
Oh, bear that in mind, yeah. And he does a 60.24, which is his best time of the day. Matt Waltham is on the hill in the Caterham Superlight. And Ted Elwes heads right now in his beautiful MGA. Matt Waltham coming towards the end of his run. His best time is a 48.17 so far. Does a 48.66, so about half a second down on his best time. But Ted Elwes rounding Ettores as Colin Richards sits on the line. We're going back to single seaters. It's the Lotus 51A of Collins.
That little Lotus, actually, when I spoke to them recently, I realised that it is a Formula Ford. It's a very early Formula Ford, but a Lotus Formula Ford. So unusual bit of kit, isn't it?
Not sure whether this MGA is this one of the 1500s or the 1600 twin cam.
I think they were 1600 twin cams, but
some of them were 1500s.
Yeah, some were 15s, weren't they? Yes, you're quite right. I'm not sure.
Some people seem to prefer the 1500s, although the 1600 twin cams were powerful. I don't know. I've never driven one, and I really don't know what they're surviving on this. Tom Richards around Pardon. Jeremy Rivers Fletcher in the Drive Special. A car that I think Jeremy is finally getting sorted out, which was something that frustrated his dad before him, trying to get this one sorted.
Oh wow, so he's had it a while then.
Oh yes.
Now, Jeremy might be our last car.
I think you could be right there. We'll wait and see in just a moment as he
starting to
locks up slightly into and hangs the tail out nicely coming out of Pardon there. This is the way to drive a front engine single seater, really is. Through the S's he's going to come. A little bit of tyre squeal through there. But he's setting a good time so far. It looks like he's going to improve his time as he comes around, semicircle to the line. Does a 54.84, so by 600ths of a second he improves his best time of the day. And I think we may well be at conclusion. I'm sure we are, in fact, because the course car is heading onto the hill. That brings today's action to a close. We will be resuming at 8:30 in the morning.
Yep.
Just a limited amount. I think it's one practice run before we get into the time runs. Round about 11 o'clock, I believe, the time runs.
I think it's the plan, isn't it? Yep. Yeah. And then,
well,
if you're tuning in tomorrow morning, the live stream's got to be on.
Yeah.
And we will have, once we have the time runs, the fastest 12 cars will qualify for the runoff.
Yeah.
Before lunch usually.
Yeah.
We'll have one runoff before lunch, another time run after lunch, another runoff.
Absolutely.
Fabulous stuff. Well, it's been a lovely sunny day, a beautiful Prescott today, hasn't it? Been an absolute picture, Peter. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm Chris Ponsford. I'm signing off now. I'll be back in the morning. And Peter?
I shall be here as well. So
fantastic,
Chris,
fantastic. So we'll rejoin you tomorrow, folks.
To work with you.
Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, and good night.